Edgar TV.
How do there, guys, and welcome back to Edgar TV. For those of you who don't know, if you're new around here, my name's Matthew Edgar, current PDC inside the top 64 players in the world, and before that I was a professional sports coach. So you'll see here I was an award-winning sports coach, coached for nearly 11 years across secondary schools, primary schools, professional football clubs, academies, working with SEN children, lots and lots of different things and experience that I've got to go on. And one of the things that I did, I used to write plans for teachers and help them with their PE development. So lots and lots of things other than just being a dart player to go on this. Now I'm getting lots and lots of questions regarding, hey Matt, like, why do I practice really well but I don't play as well in a match? And that's a question I want to have a little look at today and give you a bit of data and a bit of information to look at, and some things that you can look at for a little bit of self-help and a bit of self-reflection, rather than me physically give you, oh, this could be the answer, this could be the answer. Because this video essentially is going to be made for thousands of people to view, and everyone's individual and everyone's going to have their own different troubles, so I can't really answer you individually. If you are interested in individual answers, I do one-to-one sessions. They are available. If you look down in the description of this video, I'll put the link into how you can look to book yourself into one of those. But the main thing is, if we look at this, my four-corner model, long-term player development to make long-term lasting gains. Now with this, we need to be able to address ourselves in all four corners in able to develop our overall game. That is technique, preparation, practice and psychology. If you've got an area of your game where you play better in practice but then you play weaker in a game, that means because these four corners aren't in line, and that means we're struggling with what is known as an arousal level. So if I just quickly jump on here and change the channel, you'll see here arousal levels. Now you'll see down the side we've got low to high. This is your performance level, and across the bottom we've got low to high. This is your arousal level. So arousal along the bottom, performance across the top. Now you'll see a low level of arousal leads to a low level of performance. Ultimately, a high level of arousal leads to a low level of performance. We need to find the optimum level of arousal. Now, one area where this could really be lacking for you is the four-corner preparation and practice. Is your practice purposeful? Is your practice developing? Is your practice giving you a focus? Now, if I just change the channel back to me, if your practice is too simple, I'm just repeating, I'm just doing reps at the board, I'm just throwing at the board. First of all, like we've said in previous videos, that's fluency practice, not mastery practice. So it's just a repetition of action, it's not actually developing. But the other thing, it's a very low arousal level. It's boring, I'm just repeating an action, I'm throwing at the board, there's no purpose to it. So when I play a game with a purpose, I shoot straight past that optimum arousal level and I get to be too aroused, too excited. Oh, now I'm in a game, great. So I've got a practice version of me and a match version of me. Now the problem is, the reaction to that is when you get to that match version of you and you're over aroused, we start shaking, nerves, because that's when the adrenaline kicks in. Now Tiger Woods famously said about his practice, and I'll try and find the link and put it in the video below. He talks about his practice, and he talks about when he is putting on a green in practice, there is no difference to how he prepares for that in his practice to how he does it for winning a championship. Now, if that means that means all he's doing now is he's putting at a green. It doesn't matter what he's putting at a green for. He's learning to deal with it in that situation of his personal expectation. So the first thing I could say to you is look at your practice. Make sure the practice is purposeful. Make sure the practice is setting you up for a game, that it builds you to that peak, not shoots you straight past it into an over-arousal level. Now, the other thing that we can do is look at the four-corner model and prepare that, well, put that in link with the arousal level I've just shown you. Let me just put that channel on. So, on your screen now, I've got 3 different coloured blocks, and then obviously how that relates to your arousal level. And you'll see that all four corners always link in with everything. So the arousal level is a psychological element, which is why I've left it at the top. So everything on that top area there that's not in a coloured box, that is your psychological element. Now at the bottom, the red box is technique. So this is like the last bit. This is the bit that gets affected because the psychological, the preparation, and the practice has not been right. The three blocks above that haven't been right. We get down to the bottom, which is our technical factors. Now, low level of arousal is I'm just lardy-dardy throwing them at the board. I'm just flinging them in the direction hoping to go in. Over arousal there is I'm shaking, but you can see even in the optimal level we're still so far off of our peak performance when the other things aren't correct. So we don't want to spend too long just worrying too much about our throw, changing our flights, micromanaging our stance, because we've got to get those other things into place first. The next bit up from there you'll see is practice. The blue box. Now practice is very important, like we've already said, when we look at what Tiger Woods advised us on, and also when we look at how our practice can prepare us and get us ready and build us for long-term development and allow us to get to that peak stage. So are we just throwing against a computer bot? Are we just throwing at the board? What are we doing in our practice? Is it purposeful? Is it developmental? Are we doing things within there that is going to set us up for match play? Which is the green box, preparation. So if we've got our technique right, we've got our practice right, we need to prepare for that game. Now, do I go into a pub and I just practice when I get there? Now, the thing to remember is a dartboard is shared often at a pub. So if there's 4 of you on a board, your 1 hour's practice has just dropped down to 15 minutes. Because you've got to share it with everyone else who's throwing for 15 minutes. So are you really preparing the correct way for your game that in practice you're just a continuation? So if you think about different training styles like interval training or continuous training, when you're playing at home you're doing continuous training. It's your board, you're throwing at the board all the time. However, when you go out to the pub you're preparing with an interval based style. So another thing there to have a look for before we get to that psychological element there of playing at the top and hitting our peak performance. So yeah, guys, a little something there to have a look at. Are you hitting all those elements? That 4-corner development model is vital. If you want gains, long-lasting gains, if you want to see progress, if you want to see your practice game coming out in your match game, you need to make sure you are hitting all 4 corners of those long-term player development models. If you think you can do that and you can take these self-help videos, guys, fantastic. If you would like a one-to-one session, brilliant. Check me out in the comment section below, guys. Hope you found this useful. Bit of self-reflection, and we'll see you soon for some more Edgar TV. Edgar TV.